A district judge in Connecticut has now banned arrests inside his courtroom. We've been covering cases like this where ICE agents will show up outside the courtroom, wait in the hallway for illegal aliens to finish their proceedings inside the court before arresting them as they walk out. Now, we saw that with Judge Backdoor Dugan, where she tried to escape that other illegal alien, who I think she had a lot of empathy for, out her back door so that he wouldn't get caught by ICE. She's been charged with the crime. ICE continues to conduct arrests in and outside courthouses, and I mean inside the courthouse, not inside the courtroom. But the question, of course, is coming up. Should the illegals be arrested in these locations? Shouldn't they be given safe pass to and from the courthouse? Many people saying they're going to court, so clearly they're in compliance with some version of the law. The response would, of course, be they're coming to court so that locally they're protected because these are sanctuary cities with sanctuary policies. And if they were not sanctuary cities with sanctuary policies, these people who were charged with crimes, like in the case of Backdoor Dugan, they would have been housed, detained, and arrested and handed off to ICE, not released on bond because they're illegal aliens with no lawful status. So that's the other response to that. Now, other people will say that there should be a privilege coming back and forth, and that the privilege going to the courts from the state level should immunize you from the feds. The idea being that you should not be detained if you're going to engage with the law. You can deal with it in that court or deal with it outside of that protected process. So it's going to be a debate that is going to continue on. Now, this is what a federal judge in Connecticut has done. Signed here by Michael P. Shea, Chief United States District Judge, right? So writing this for the entire district, saying this is the new policy. And this was publicized over on their website. You can see here, under the rules and orders of the courts, a new order regarding arrests in federal courts in Connecticut. So he says, all right, to ensure the orderly conduct of court proceedings and the safety of litigants, witnesses, attorneys, the public, and court personnel who enter and occupy its space, the court issues the following order. Except as provided below, so we'll have some exceptions, no law enforcement agent or other person may arrest or detain any person on any floor of any building on which proceedings of this court, including the bankruptcy court, may be held or on which the clerk's office is located. All right, so that would, in the Judge Dugan case, that was a Wisconsin state judge. ICE showed up to a state facility, waited outside her courtroom in the hallway, but it would have been on the same floor as her courtroom, and so that arrest would have been prohibited under this order, unless there's an exception for it. Including in any courtroom or hallway, even more specific, conference room, robing room, attorney or witness room. Those are those little closets they stuff you in outside the courtrooms for attorneys and prosecutors, defense teams. Now, chambers, the clerk's office, elevator bank, okay? Don't even go into the elevator bank there. Public restrooms or any other area serving the United States District Court for the District of Connecticut. A court appurtenant space is what the judge will call it moving forward. Okay, so if you're in the building, if you're on the property, you're not conducting an arrest. Don't care if it's a bathroom, don't care if it's by the elevators, don't care if it's a floor, nothing. It says the U.S. Marshal or his deputy may detain individuals or make arrests as authorized by law in any space within any courthouse or federal building in this district, except that no non-criminal arrest may be made in any courtroom. Okay, so basically the U.S. Marshal still has access, but ICE agents do not. So just saying, some people can. U.S. Marshal, you want to come in and conduct an arrest, but it's got to be criminal, and you still have that power. But so everybody else is prohibited. Now, court security officers, people who work for me, may detain individuals and make criminal arrests in a courtroom or court appurtenant space under the supervision and in coordination with the U.S. Marshal or his deputy, as necessary to ensure the orderly conduct of court proceedings and the safety and security of litigants, witnesses, attorneys, and public and court personnel. Okay, so this is not illegal alien stuff. It's saying if something bad happens, we can still, somebody comes in here, starts popping off, whatever, we can deal with that, but it's not illegal alien related. With respect to the Ribicoff Federal Building in Hartford, because they must have another building, this order applies to all spaces within the annex and within the 2nd and 7th floors of the main building. Until further order of this court, this order does not apply to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th floors of the main building, which I would guess are just purely administrative, and that there are not going to be any illegals going in there. For clarity, Federal Protective Police and their contract security officers may detain and make arrests as authorized by law in accordance with their duties on the 1st floor of the main building and outside the building. So Federal Protective Police, right, another subset of law enforcement, but not ICE agents. So not DHS agents, unless they fall into that category. Saying with respect to the Lee Courthouse and the McMahon Federal Building, this order applies to all spaces throughout the interior of each of those buildings, except that with respect to the McMahon Building, the IRS Criminal Investigative Division, and the Diplomatic Service may make an arrest because, it's their buildings, if they voluntarily come to those offices. So if it's in their building, then they can deal with it, but they have to voluntarily come to those offices, and the judge knows why are they going to go there? Says, nothing in this order shall be construed to prohibit the U.S. Marshal, separate division, not ICE, or his deputy from transferring to other law enforcement agents custody of a person presently in their custody. So if the Marshal's got an illegal, ICE wants it, Marshal can hand it to him, no problem. Law enforcement agents who have arrested an individual elsewhere for a crime from bringing that individual from court, transferring custody to a cell block, or bringing an individual for questioning. Okay, so certain law enforcement can bring somebody, but they can't take them away, provided that no transfer of custody can take place to any court or pertinent space. So if you bring somebody here, then you can't hand them off to somebody else. This order is effective immediately. In addition to other federal and state offenses, failure to comply with this order is punishable as criminal contempt. So if the ICE agents show up, try to arrest somebody, boom, crimes imposed by the judge. Fine, imprisonment, or both. Judge Michael P. Shea says no arrests in the District of Connecticut